Michael from Binghamton, good morning.
Hello, Bob. How are you today?
Excellent, but more importantly, Michael, as in Michael Vasquez, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Just was listening to your show, of course, as always. And I'm listening to Senator Griffo, and wow. There's one thing that's funny about that call.
No, come on, be honest, Michael. Not just one thing. While he was on, you were tweeting up a Twitter storm. It was a twit storm with all sorts of tweets. You wanted me to ask him 1,000,001 questions, and obviously, so it's, you know, let's be honest. There was a lot more than one thing that bothered you about Senator Griffo.
Absolutely. But there's one primary thing. One primary thing that I think is very important, and I've spoken about this before, and I think people need to know this. Because most people don't know Senator Griffo. They don't know most of the people who are coming out the woodwork now to try and promote themselves and see if they can engineer a run now that Representative Hanna is going to be stepping away. And I advise people, don't take my word for it, look it up yourself. There is the drone testing site at Griffiss International Airport. You may have, a couple of years ago, there was big news on it. It was a 3-year project. Representative Hanna, Assemblyman Brindisi, Senator Griffo working together, spending over $6 million tax dollars, both at the state and federal level, to put into getting the drone testing site into New York State. They promised, documented, they promised for 2 years that we would create at least 2,000 jobs and generate $70 million for the state. Well, last year, we did get the drone testing site. And to date, the last that I've been able to research, it created a grand total of 6 jobs.
Yeah, but more jobs to come, Michael.
That's what they keep saying.
Well, that's what they always say. I'm not talking about this initiative in general. I'm talking about all job creation initiatives. And I think our listeners are adult enough that we can be blunt. Job creation initiatives, to the best of my knowledge, never live up to their advance billing. And if a listener can prove me wrong with any job creation initiative that's ever occurred in New York or Pennsylvania, with the number of jobs truly created compared to what we were promised, please call in now and I'll put you right on the air. But the fact is, the line won't be ringing off the hook because, as far as I can tell, at least in my lifetime, any job promise that's been made by elected officials and usually even by private sector officials is off the mark. Every once in a while, you get lucky, but let's be blunt here. I mean, with the drone initiative or any other initiative, Start Me Up New York. Oh, there's another reason why Cuomo won't be doing a radio interview. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Look, we're adult enough. So are you shocked that there's been a job initiative involving state and federal officials that didn't come close to living up to its expectations?
No, but there's a big difference between having not hit the target, 500 jobs, 100 jobs. There's a difference between that and 6 jobs for $1 million apiece, and they're putting another $2.8 million into it, which still is not creating anywhere. I mean, they're not even close to us.
But Michael, the reason why it works, actually, I should call you Mr. Vasquez because it sounds insulting to call you Michael. Mr. Vasquez, as you will confirm, it's okay for these people to provide money for a drone initiative or anything else because it's OPM, other people's money. It's not their money, so it's A-okay. It happens to be my money and your money, but they don't care.
Well, it's particularly relevant when you want to become our congressman for our district, which means your history is relevant. And I think people should know this is part of what, and I'm not saying that he's a bad man. I'm not saying that he doesn't do good things. But it is part of the record that needs to be considered. And he has promised and failed. That's a failure. When you get 6 jobs, not 20, not 100, not 2,000 like you promised, when you don't bring in any money into the state as opposed to generating revenue as you promised, and you're putting millions more into this, then I have to say, this is part of your record. Don't hide from it. Make sure people are aware of it. People need to know this if they want to consider him. This is his record. Make sure it's known. And I know that he doesn't want to speak about it. He hasn't spoken about it. Brindisi hasn't spoken about it. Hanna has completely avoided it. They're assuming it's gone, and they don't want people to look at it. It's important. People need to know this if they're going to evaluate who they want to pick.
Well, there's plenty of time between now and June for people to start evaluation. Here's my question, because you pay very close attention to the situation here in upstate New York politically. In the end, how many people do you think ultimately will attempt to launch serious, realistic campaigns to get the Republican and, secondly, Democratic nominations for this open seat? What do you foresee happening?
You'll see Brindisi will be Assemblyman Brindisi will run for the Democrats. He's the only choice that they have. And he should probably make his announcement probably first week of January. You'll see that Republican Party will have two candidates. Mike Vasquez of Oswego County. He had previously been the Republican chairman of Oswego, and he lost that position in 2015. It's Ken Clark. He'll come out with an announcement probably later in January. And at the beginning of January, probably second week, you'll see probably, I'm expecting it to be, oh God, now I'm forgetting his name, not the Senti.
I know who you're talking about, yeah.
One other Republican.
And we know that you will be supporting and perhaps even working for Claudia Tenney's campaign, and of course Assemblywoman Tenney was on the program Monday morning. Of the other prospective Republicans looking ahead to the very likely primary, who do you think would pose the biggest and most serious challenge to Claudia Tenney in a primary?
Let me disclose first, I don't work for Tenney at this time.
All right, but you're making plans to possibly work for her.
If she asked me, I'll say no. I won't say no, but I just want to make sure people understand where I'm coming from. I'm not working for her. So that's just clear. But the second thing is, to answer your question, really, none of them. Nobody, including Democrats, nobody at this moment has any exposure. And based on the amount of time and cost, there isn't a real serious challenger out there. Quite honestly, none of them are known. Most of them have records that are difficult in their own districts, let alone throughout the entire New York 22nd. There isn't a really solid challenger. The best challenger could, well, based on the history, the record, there's a woman in this Bertini out of Cortland. She has a very nice, credentialed record, except it has absolutely no experience in elected office.
Well, look, we've had presidents who've had minimal experience in elective office, so...
Look at the country now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, so, be a community organizer, serve a couple of years in the state senate, and presto, voila, you're driving around in a Corvette on the White House lawn with that guy who thinks he's funny. And, I mean, obviously, Seinfeld is funny. I don't want to make people mad and say, I don't think he's funny, but driving a Corvette on the White House lawn, come on. Anyway, so the bottom line is this is going to be very interesting. I think 2016, Mr. Vasquez, is going to be fascinating from my perspective as a news and political junkie.
Absolutely. All the political junkies are going to love this. We are going to have national attention. Massive national attention.
You know what else occurs to me, just from a business standpoint? This is good for broadcast stations in the 22nd Congressional District, especially TV stations. The people who own the TV stations that serve this district in the Binghamton and Utica markets, they ought to be sending thank you cards to Richard Hanna.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that's millions of dollars in unanticipated revenue. I mean, even if Hanna had chosen to seek another term, it still might have been a lot of money. I predict this is going to be a lot more money as a result of the open seat.
We should triple the revenues.
Well, you know what that means? It means big raises for all my friends at the TV stations.
For you too.
Well, obviously radio will make some, but these days the way political, well, I don't know. Maybe if it gets really hot and heavy, maybe they'll do lots of radio. We've been in some campaigns in the not too distant past where the candidates, because it was so hot and fast and furious, they bought up all available time on radio too. So who knows? I mean, the sky could be the limit.
Well, they have to.
The Binghamton Now program, come late October, even though we're on for 3 hours with all the political advertising, I'll probably only have time to do 90-second interviews so we could get to all the political commercials.
I wouldn't be surprised by that. I would not.
Hey, well, ultimately, and I'm sharing a secret, and I hope it doesn't get out, ultimately, radio, TV, newspapers, they are a business, and they're in business to make money. So I know a lot of people will be astonished to hear that we're in it ultimately to maximize our revenue, but hey, it's America, it's capitalism. Take that, Bernie Sanders.
I come to your show. More popular than the whole thing.
But here's the thing, Mr. Vasquez, if you don't mind. I will invite Bernie Sanders to come on our program because we have an open door policy.
That would be interesting.
It would be interesting. Wouldn't it be great to have Bernie Sanders? I mean, I shouldn't say I know. I suspect you don't agree with Bernie Sanders on very many issues, but still I think it would be a fascinating segment.
You would not be able to count the tweets I would have, and I'll say one thing about that. I'll say one thing about Bernie Sanders. I have lived in a socialist nation, and I challenge him. I challenge anyone who wants to believe in socialism. Speak to anyone who's actually lived in, not a visit, not a week, not a month, but has lived in a socialist country and seen how that works out. Ask them why they left and came to America. I don't agree with that.
I heard they came to America to get some southern fried chicken, whipped up in big batches at the drive-thru. Michael Vasquez, always a pleasure. Thank you very much for joining us. It's 10:32. Coming up,